Bonjour. Oh, sorry. Good morning and welcome to Ray's Breakfast. It's the weekend. Time to ease into great conversation, fresh insight, and good vibes all around. My name is Oluchi Omink, and as always, I've got my amazing co-anchors, Triumph, and of course, Goodness will join us later on the table. Today, we're crossing borders, not literally, but through ideas and opportunities. We're talking about how global exposure and education is shaping Africa's next generation. And joining us is someone who lives and breathes that mission, Ajiro Gene Akpowomanu, a vibrant global education and corporate travel consultant whose work has helped students and professionals connect to opportunities around the world. So this is one conversation that just might inspire your next big move in case you're thinking of studying abroad or, of course, moving to another country for educational purposes. It's the weekend, and that's why I'm just super excited because it's been a very long one. Let's get to meet my co-anchor, Triumph Akimboye.
Hi, good morning. How are you doing this morning?
I am excited.
Today is Friday. Today is Friday. I am excited for you. Not for you, but I'm excited for you. I'm excited for myself. I like the fact that today is Friday.
Yeah.
You get to prepare. And I love the fact that, it's the end of the year. And there is so much tension, there's so much pressure. One of my coach was speaking yesterday, and then, we had to be doing a whole lot. But I'm just very
reflecting,
happy.
right? We're going to have one day, to just sit and reflect about how the year has been. And I'm sure our audiences would love to drop one or two about how the year has been. But right now, we're going to take a short break. And when we come back, we're heading to the newspaper segment of today's show, one that you do not want to miss. So please stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back, dearest viewers. For today's conversation, I'd love you to know that you are the main ingredient in all of our conversations. Our phone lines will be open. Please call us on 0702 5007749 or 0701 4242420. If you're yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel, don't know what you're waiting for. Please go now to the official Upgrade TV. Click the subscribe button, like, share the link, tune into channel 145 on your GoTV, and you will catch our pretty faces alongside other pretty faces every morning, afternoon, or evening. We're going to head on now to the newspaper reviews this morning. We have the Tribune, we have the Guardian, and of course the Nation, and Triumph, not Goodness. The triumphant girl is going to lead us through the papers.
Goodness is great as well. So we are going to get into the front page of the Nation newspaper. I have quite the interesting stories here. So I'm going to start with the first one. Transparency, credibility, integrity must define elections. This is coming from our president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and to Amokpito. Yesterday I saw a video trending online, which is, I think they got the video from the news source, from the meeting that they held with Amokpito, where Amokpito, I think, he swore his oath with the Bible, and then people were literally dragging this man online. People were wondering that, are you sure you are going to represent God, in this new position, this new assignment? And it's got me to really reflect, to think about the fact that, okay, we're having a new person on board. What are the traits that we are going to see? Because sometimes there is need to question if some people have the fear of God when it comes to ruling. Because when you see certain things,
obviously,
we really need to question that. Are you sure you have the fear of God? So, fingers crossed to what is about to happen. Our president already spoke to him that transparency, credibility, integrity, these are the things that must define our elections. So I really hope he's going to uphold that. But to get more details of this story, check the pages of the Nation newspaper. And so another story you would find above, consensus chair bid. PDP split over ex-minister Turaki. Well, that's a story you would find in page 3. We can see a lot of defecting from one party to the other happening in this time. But to my story of interest, but before that, I saw it in the news yesterday. Now it's on the front page of the Nation news. Ayedatiwa in Akungba Akoko after truck crash kills 8. What I even saw, it was reported to be more than 8. But now they are saying that, maybe like 8 people are dead, but more people have been displaced. That was in Akungba. And my heart goes to everyone who was affected by this. Life that has been lost. So I think that we're always coming here to talk about the way drivers are always driving as if there is nothing more after this world, as if, you know, they are going to get... Sometimes the way these people drive, you would think that there is actually reward in heaven for killing people.
Honestly, it's even beyond the drivers at some point, because sometimes when you hear of explosion, it's not always the fault of the driver. Sometimes it's just the bad roads that we have and people trying to maneuver through a tiny lane. I told you of my experience, or you were not on the table, one time when I was traveling back from the east to Lagos. We were on this very tiny lane. If you're coming through Benin and, you know, that route, and a lot of vehicles were on that same lane with tankers. You get to see how people were pleading the blood inside the bus that we were in, because it's, I mean, and that's what happens regularly, daily. Couples are traveling from one place to the other. People are always commuting, and we've even gotten to that peak season of the year where a lot of people are going, you know, to their hometown to celebrate with families. This is one time to really be very prayerful, to be cautious as well. And of course, we're hoping that the people who ought to take security as, you know, something that they uphold should really be on their toes. Let's go to The Guardian. Thank you for taking us through the papers. The Guardian has interesting stories. A follow-up on what you've said as well. It says Tinubu demands credible elections as Amupiton faces Anambra hurdle. Of course, I love how a lot of people are on his neck at this point. I think that this pressure is even good. We need this kind of pressure. So when you get on that seat, and when it gets to what we really want to see, there would be no comma. But I'm hoping that this is also not PR and just trying to make it look like we are trying to uphold transparency. Let it be that that is really the real intention. That's just all my own.
But in his words, he already said that I want to assure you of my commitment to uphold integrity.
Let the election happen. Then we'll know if that assurance was really it. But I want to be hopeful that that's what it is. So going away from that, we see EFCC says we recovered 566 billion naira, $41 million, 1,502 properties in 2 years. That is commendable. That makes a lot of sense, and I'm glad that we're tackling crime. Moving away, it says challenging elections in court makes mockery of Nigeria. This is from the National Assembly, lamenting on that. 22,050 displaced children back to school in 3 northwest states, says SCI. I really like this update as well. We talked about, you know, IDPs, people, internally displaced persons, pardon me. I mean, IDP people, that's tautology. But internally displaced persons, we spoke about them on Monday, talking about climate shock. But this update is very impressive because it shows that beyond people just having to deal with tragic moments, we're getting them reintegrated back into the society, and children are going back to school in some states in, you know, in the northwest. I hope it gets better. Defections. Makinde APC senator decry lack of political ideology in Nigeria. Kanu sacks legal team opts to represent self in court. Below, we also see MTN Nigeria here to stay. CEO retreats at bilateral roundtable. From promise to paralysis, inside Akwa Ibom's lost industrial decades. 2 more stories here. Again, Tinubu appeals for understanding over economic challenges. Now, isn't that a very funny one? I'm almost becoming very empathic here to say, we understand you, sir. But moving to the last story, it says remove 4% FOB levy or consumers beer boarding. And this is manufacturers telling federal government. It's just a whole lot happening. You know, going back to some stories that we saw as well, this one was really tragic as well, and that was on the Niger tank explosion. But something remarkable that I would say from the governor at Niger State, Mohammed Bago, he announced a donation of 1 million naira to each family of the deceased victims and 500,000 naira to each of the injured survivors of the recent tanker explosion in Essa Kacha local government area. Well, you know, I was just thinking to myself, thinking out loud that, yeah, at the end of the day, it's beautiful when we see the government, you know, show remorse, not show remorse, show humanity. Let me use the word humanity when tragic situations happen and you help these people come back, you know, to normalcy. But at the end of the day, using that word again, nothing can bring back the dead one. But it shows that you actually care about the people that have lost their life. But let's investigate what caused this tanker explosion. Is it something that could have been prevented? Is it like a malfunction with the tanker that was on the road that could have been prevented? Maybe a new tanker ought to have been bought. Maybe a better driver, maybe a better road. So if we can tackle the causes of this, all the money that you're using to help pacify someone can be used to correct some of these things, and people will live longer, honestly.
Really,
but that's all the story that we have.
Exactly.
I'm really hoping that it doesn't happen today. Our viewers, our audiences, people who watch us every morning, let us know which of these stories really caught your attention. Let's know what you expect to see, what you expect to change in the coming days. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll be ushering in our guest and, of course, our co-anchor for today's conversation. You do not want to miss it, like I said earlier. So please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Nigeria, by extension Africa, battles a growing youthful population, and with little or no meaningful engagement, lives a ticking time bomb on our hands. We are a blessed continent with great wealth, both in people and material. Our focus on ways remains driving conversations that affects us all. Topics in the news, social concerns, politics, leadership, governance, empowerment, resource management, conflict management, finance, SME sustainability, technological innovation, food security, health, education, brain drain, our well-being, citizenship, and much more. Our goal is to continuously drive these conversations, keep them burning at the table to effect a positive change, both for our nation and continent. Ways, what are you saying, has a secret ingredient that completes the conversation every single episode, and that ingredient is you. Our past conversations shaped our yesterday. To shape our tomorrow, we must keep talking. So, I want to hear you. Be a part of our live conversations Mondays through Fridays. And let's all have our say.
Tell us you're a Nigerian without saying a word. Energy security is one of the most pressing issues for many developing countries like Nigeria. And if there's going to be any meaningful progress, addressing our energy issues is non-negotiable.
I need to see light for my house. Make them do something.
Band A is expensive. I literally have to turn off all my appliances just to reduce costs.
We need light.
Introducing the Energy Outlook, your go-to show for everything energy. Every week, we'll bring you the latest insights, innovation, and in-depth analysis of Nigeria's energy sector. From policy discussions to regulatory insights, we'll analyze the key decisions influencing growth and sustainability in the energy sector. We'll bring you the human stories behind the headlines, giving you a personal perspective on the broader energy challenges. Join me every Friday at 6 p.m. for the Energy Outlook, your guide to the future of energy, where energy means business. Tell us you're a Nigerian without saying a word. Energy security is one of the most pressing issues for many developing countries like Nigeria. And if there's going to be any meaningful progress, addressing our energy issues is non-negotiable.
I need to see light for my house. Make them do something.
Band A is expensive. I literally have to turn off all my appliances just to reduce costs.
We need light.
Introducing the Energy Outlook, your go-to show for everything energy. Every week, we'll bring you the latest insights, innovation, and in-depth analysis of Nigeria energy sector. From policy discussions to regulatory insights, we'll analyze the key decisions influencing growth and sustainability in the energy sector. We'll bring you the human stories behind the headlines, giving you a personal perspective on the broader energy challenges. Join me every Friday at 6 p.m. for the Energy Outlook, your guide to the future of energy, where energy means business.
Good morning and welcome back to Raise Breakfast, where we unpack conversations that shape thought, opportunity, and the future. Today's conversation is one that sits right at the intersection of education, exposure, and empowerment. Three keys that define how Africa's young people can compete and collaborate in a rapidly globalizing world. Across the continent, millions of young Africans are eager to explore the world through study, work, and partnership, yet the barriers of access, information, and opportunity still persist. But imagine an Africa where students don't just dream of global exposure, but are actually prepared, positioned, and connected for it. And that's the bridge our guest is helping to build. We've got in the studio Ajiro-Gene Akpowomanu, a global education and corporate travel consultant at Fural Limited, where she leads initiatives that have placed students in top international programs, developed strategic partnership with global educational institutions, created efficient corporate travel management system, and expanded business opportunities across multiple sectors. Her work doesn't just move people across borders, it moves possibilities. And our topic this morning is bridging borders, shaping Africa's next generation. And we're exploring what global exposure really means for young Africans, how education can become a launchpad for impact, and what it takes to build international pathway that truly transform lives. Let's make welcome Ajiro-Gene to the show. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
How do you feel this morning?
I'm excited. I'm actually happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for honoring our invitation and joining us to discuss something this important. I mean, education in our world today for Nigerians isn't just locally. People are thinking globally. And before I even go to the major discussion of today, I want to just try to get into your own world. I mean, when did you realize, or when did it occur to you that this was a path worth choosing and worth following? Let's start the conversation from there.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
As someone that actually studied an intense course in school, because I studied chemical engineering.
Okay.
I've always been interested in education. I had a lot of opportunities when I was in school, like securing a scholarship that funded my studies locally. From my first year till I graduated. So when the opportunity came to ensure that people have access to quality education by getting the right information, I just grabbed it.
So after that, you then decided to build a career to help people also find out about these opportunities.
Yes.
That's amazing. Goodness, you have a question for our guests.
All right, so I'm enthusiastic concerning when you started, you made mention of you getting an opportunity for a scholarship and everything, then when you start, right? So my question is, what's like your main vision and drive of what you are into currently concerning specifically Nigerian students?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. You know, at least with the recent trends, if you follow the trends, especially on social media, you see that a lot of Nigerians are planning on exploring opportunities just to get better life for themselves or their families. But I came to realize that lots of persons fell into the wrong hands, got wrong information that, of course, just jeopardized the whole process of, I want to study abroad. I had cases where some students were sent back home after getting to their study destination just because they did not get the right information. So as a professional, I saw that as a huge gap. I'm not in the field just for fun or to make money. It's totally out of it. I don't like to see people suffer. Imagine you've, of course, said your goodbyes to your friends and all of a sudden you're back. And someone asks you, why are you back? And the story is, well, when I got there, they said I'm an illegal student or I didn't do the right thing. So I'm there to ensure that people get right information. People do the right things, especially when they want to pursue their education abroad.
Okay.
So that's why I'm doing what I'm currently doing.
Amazing.
That's very great. So let's talk about education. You know, there is a whole lot of things with people wanting to. There are quite a number of persons that wants to travel abroad to go and study. I mean, it would have crossed every Nigerian mind that maybe at the end of the day, maybe I should just travel and then get opportunity. But let's talk about our exposure in Nigeria when it comes to education. It is not as we are not really exposed yet to certain things. Even some people that want to get access to different opportunities, they are unable to do so because they cannot even afford the kind of before it comes to my mind that okay, maybe I want to get scholarships. Sometimes maybe some of them they would have to be the one that they have to pay everything. They cannot get access to it. So are we saying that maybe we should bring those scholarships, those opportunities to Nigeria, or people should still continue? Because it makes it feel like, honestly, I'm not going to lie, it makes it feel like not everybody can decide to say that, oh, I want to get a global opportunity, I'm traveling, I'm leaving Nigeria tomorrow. It feels like something that cannot work for everybody. Not everybody has the capacity for it. So should we think about, rather than taking it out, should we think about how we can bring it in? Or how can people have more access to this information that are available on global platforms alone?
Okay, thank you. I think that's a huge gap currently in the education sector. A lot of Nigerians do not know that there are several opportunities available to them, even here in Nigeria locally. If you recall, when I started, I mentioned I got a scholarship. Now, it comes to information. It comes to letting the young ones know that this opportunity is available. The scholarship I got, how did I get it? I had that information during my orientation session in school, my year one. So now, we were in school, different persons came to enlighten us. Would you know, as an indigenous of this state, you have access to scholarships? We didn't know. Before I got to school, I didn't know. There were bursaries available. People didn't know. I took advantage of it. While I got scholarship, I also took advantage of the bursaries, and I got them. So it all boils down to information. So we are actually creating a platform where every Nigerian will be enlightened. Different sectors, there are private bodies, there are government bodies that are currently bringing out this information for people and giving them access. I had a classmate of mine that's currently, she's a graduate already. She was given fully funded scholarship to pursue education in the UK or anywhere she wants. Okay. And she picked, of course, she took hold of that opportunity. So it comes to information. Lots of platforms are only promoting scholarships abroad. And of course, so get that scholarship is quite competitive because you are not the only one accessing it. It's not just Nigerians. Other continents are applying for it. So why not just take advantage of the one that is available to you locally? Okay. So we're putting out the information out there. That's what we're trying to do at Forali.
Yeah, you're doing amazing work at Forali. I've been calling it Foral all this while, giving it the Arab vibe to it. And I think it's really amazing because education is really key. And exposure is how we get better with our educational sector. Sometimes I wonder if if this doesn't somehow inspire this whole jackpot syndrome that we're seeing. I mean, we get really bright minds because they saw great opportunities and then they leave and they never return. Whereas we need them in politics, we need them in as our policy makers because they are bright minds and they've gone to get the exposure. But I will leave that one for another one. You've spoken a whole lot about this information. And I feel like we have not yet opened what those informations are that could really, that has been causing a barrier. I'll give you a story. A friend of mine told me that she had a friend who had gotten a scholarship already. They were ready to receive her abroad, to start her program already. But one of the stumbling block was visa approval. So she didn't get her visa approved, even though she was going for, a study visit in that sense. She didn't get it. So I'm like, that is one dream that has been thwarted, and that can be really painful. That's why some Nigerians don't tell their village people that they are traveling, because they feel like they will hinder it. So yes, we know information is a barrier, but since it's like an educational exposition in that sense, we're talking to people who are probably thinking of traveling. So what are those information that they need to know? What are those things that they should have at the forefront before making this big decision? Okay,
thank you very much. So as someone that wants to pursue education, at least know where you are starting from. I know, especially in the north, a lot of children do not have access to education. So we have to start from building from the bottom. Okay. Ensure that at least they go through the first stage. They get access to their first O-level results. Okay. Because that's the first, no matter the kind of scholarship you want to access, you need that. Once you get hold on that, and of course, the opportunities are there, you apply. Now you need guidance. Some people do not know what they even want to do in life. Okay. Just because a friend or a brother or someone related or somebody they look up to is pursuing a particular career, they decide that that's what they want to do. Mm. I, for one, while we were preparing for our egg then, everybody was talking about, I want to study medicine, I want to study medicine.
And no.
So I also did that. But then there was this teacher in my school that knew that, that's not what you are doing. Okay. I was like, why? He said, because your friend wants to do medicine, so you decided you want to do medicine. In the end, I went to engineering. So it comes to mentorship. People need to have access to mentors, good mentors, mentors that can guide them, and of course, teach them those things that they need to look out for. Now, you've graduated from your high school, which is WAEC NECO level in Nigeria here. Before you get into the university, you need to also have guidance. A lot of students, that's where the major problem comes in. They don't have access to guidance. And our education system doesn't really promote that. Yeah. You see foreign institutions, when they come to you as a Nigerian, come study in my school, and you ask them, why should I come to your school to study? They'll tell you, oh, you have access to mentors, you have access to career sessions, you have access to trainings that are outside your coursework. We don't have that here. And if we are not able to provide that, how are our students going to compete on the global stage? It will be very difficult. That's why you find out that a lot of graduates, at least you see some things on social media where a couple or somebody that just graduated ask simple questions and they're unable to answer it. That's because they didn't go through school properly, the way they should. Now, aside mentorship, after graduation, they also need to know that this is available. So the bodies in Nigeria that have given people access to these things need to be more publicized. So it takes us back to information. We do not know about them. Yeah. Like, for example, there's this one, Agbami Scholarship. Agbami is only very popular in South-South. A lot of people that are outside there do not know about it. They are there. There's another one that their scholarships are provided by local governments. People don't hear about them.
International scholarships?
Local
scholarships, okay.
People don't hear about them. We also need to, like, everybody that promotes education, that in terms of sponsoring students to go to school, they also need to put it out there. So it does not look like, oh, it's only available to a certain class of persons. If it's open to the world, then let the world see it. Mm-hmm. Then our institution also needs to help people. It can get really frustrating that you have graduated and you do not have access to your certificate. That's the major problem we have. Not being able to access your transcript, not being able to access even your certificate. They'll just give you statements of results and say, okay, you can present this that you've graduated. It takes you 5 years to process a certificate or a transcript. It doesn't make any sense at all. And that's one of the things that holds people back. So if we want our people to compete globally, we need to also give them that support that helps them do that.
Thank you. I mean, this has really opened my mind to a whole lot. And I think one thing I'm taking from it is ignorance is really what stifles people's growth. We're going to go on a short break, and when we come back, we have more questions, my co-anchors and I, for our special guest here. So please stay with us. And if you have questions as well, let us know on our YouTube page, and we'll read them out for our guests. Thank you. Please stay tuned.
Nigeria, by extension Africa, battles a growing youthful population, and with little or no meaningful engagement, leaves a ticking time bomb on our hands. We are a blessed continent with great wealth, both in people and material. Our focus on ways remains driving conversations that affects us all. Topics in the news, social concerns, politics, leadership, governance, empowerment, resource management, conflict management, finance, SME sustainability, technological innovation, food security, health, education, brain drain, our well-being, citizenship, and much more. Our goal is to continuously drive these conversations, keep them burning at the table to effect a positive change both for our nation and continent. Ways, what are you saying, has a secret ingredient that completes the conversation every single episode, and that ingredient is you. Our past conversations shaped our yesterday. To shape our tomorrow, we must keep talking. So, I want to hear you. Be a part of our live conversations Mondays through Fridays. And let's all have our say.
Welcome back, dearest viewers, to our weekend special on Raise Breakfast. We're talking about bridging borders, shaping Africa's next generation, of course, in the educational space, and what global exposure actually means. We've been joined by Ajiro Gene, an amazing specialist in this field. And going back to what we were talking about earlier, one thing we've been trying to open up in our conversation today is the ignorance that exists that hinders many of these people from accessing opportunities that can help us stand on global stages. And I could relate very well to that certificate on, well, funny how, I think sometimes students are to blame for it as well, because sometimes the school gives them a time frame to come collect their certificates and, to help them process. But because students, after they graduate, some of them are married, some of them are doing something else, they lose that urgency to want to go after this. So sometimes the school then stresses them before giving them that. But thank you for opening that up. And of course, the other challenges as regards information. But let me move the baton now to Goodness to ask you
I wanted to
question.
with that because I myself, I
then that means
received
it will
my
be
certificate.
it will be a different.
So it's not
it will be
just
based
on
on different schools.
Yeah, not just on the student aspect. So my question is directly is like two in one, right? Because I've done a lot of research concerning getting global opportunities when it comes to education, and I've tried it out. So now she made mention of something before we went on break concerning her friend that got a scholarship but didn't get the visa on time, which she lost it. So that brings me back to your own body itself, because I know of a few that usually assign counselors to probably students that comes to them for information and that's to get direct guidance. Mm-hmm. And I'm also aware that there are some countries that even though you get scholarship there, it's difficult for you to get visa, like the likes of Germany, right? It takes like almost like a year before you can get a visa. So if a student is applying there automatically, meaning you're not going to be able to attend. Yeah. So now directing to it now, for instance, how do you people manage the students when it comes to picking a particular country so that they won't fail out of getting the scholarship as a result of probably visa or even failing the interview visa?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. When it comes to guiding students, we pay attention to some key points. First of all, what are your dreams? What do you want to achieve? Now, there are different countries that are known for certain specialties. You want to be a professional in the medical field, there are countries who would, recommend.
Okay.
You want to be an engineer, there are countries who recommend. You are in the IT space, there are countries, of course, you want to do business in the global stage, there are countries who recommend. So it comes to consultation. It's a session that is compulsory, like we must have that session with you so we can guide you properly. Now, we also pay attention to the reason. Different people have different reasons for pursuing education outside their home countries. Some for relocation, some just to get better degrees that would place them for better opportunities. So when we know those reasons, we know countries to recommend. We pay attention to all that. Then some other persons may have families they've not seen, they want to, reunite. Okay. There are countries that support that. So it's very important for these students to know, because there was someone we spoke to recently and the person was like, I don't know anything, I just need you to guide me. That's why we're there. We'll guide you. We'll, give you information that is related to what you want to choose, what you want to chase. Now, if it comes to, I just want to jackpot, like the trend, of course, there are countries that support that.
They are eager to welcome you, right?
Very eager. They need your expertise. So we'll definitely recommend those ones. If you make wrong choices by yourself, by going to places that do not give access to, okay, after school, what next? You would have wasted your resources and your time. So at Forale, we ensure that the students are guided properly. And of course, how do we do this? We have an internal process that, of course, you mentioned something about counselors. Counselors are assigned to ensure that this process is seamless and easy. And of course, mistake-free, because that is like a major hindrance. When it comes to visa applications, like you mentioned, a single mistake by, let's say, missing the spelling on your name can thwart the whole process. So we have a team that is dedicated and pays close attention to these things.
Interesting. So the summary of it is, don't try to do it on your own. Interesting.
So, yeah.
Well, let's talk about something very personal. People have different opinion about it. We understand the state that we are in as a country when it comes to education, when it comes to our economy, when it comes to a lot of things, when it comes to even the environment, there are several reasons why people want to travel. But let's even talk about some students. You would meet some people that the reason why they really want to travel, not under the guise of maybe they want to go and pursue their education, but because maybe they truly want to, not under the guise that they want to leave to pursue maybe other things aside the education, but they're using education. Now let's talk about people that are actually going to pursue education. But you see that when they get all these scholarships, I know that as Nigerians, we're supposed to give back to Nigeria, but it is not like that for everybody. Some people feel like, okay, why am I supposed to come back? Why am I supposed to come back to give back? So let's talk about the pandemic of once people travel, that's the end. People don't want to come back. There is no reason.
If I leave this Nigeria
like this,
no
and I'm gone. I mean, I even saw some people, they are creating content. Their own content is jackpada. That means that I traveled, but I'm moving back with my family and all of that. And then you see people in the comment section, why are you coming back to Nigeria and all of that? So do you also have the opinion of the fact that maybe people should actually be able to come back to their country and maybe give back and maybe help with the knowledge, with the opportunities that they have been able to get? Since you are getting a scholarship, you should be able to come back. Are you also of that opinion? So come and do something, maybe talk about our political sector, our economic sector, talk about our education sector. There's a whole lot that needs people's attention in Nigeria. So what do you think, your own personal opinion about that?
Okay, yes. When it comes to that, I'm a strong supporter of being a patriotic citizen.
That's why you're still here.
Well, I feel identify a need as a student abroad and come back home and meet that need.
But they don't agree with this. They believe that they should explore. Some might not even mind having to, you know, even have to hustle more before they are able to get the whole thing
Yeah, at least when you are
balanced?
stable, identify a need is very important. Reason is this. If you notice, a lot of, especially, I always try to go back to the foundation. The foundational years are very important. There is a lot of gap there at the moment. There's a lot of gap. You see students that are writing WAEC, they can't speak English, they can't read properly. How are they going to compete? So now, as a graduate, you can start from there. You don't have to. One thing I know, you don't even have to be available, at least with internet. Young people have access to internet. Just identify a need and give back. You don't have to be here to give back.
Okay.
You can do anything from anywhere.
Good.
We're speaking to the audience now from a location,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We are not there with them. So with access to internet, you can give back.
I think that what you just said is really, really key. So I think
Yeah, definitely. Because we're talking about the digital advantage to studying as well. I think there was this new, would I say revolution now, where people started studying remotely, even
Yes.
scholarship opportunities. They don't have to travel overseas to do that. So I want you to open that much more. Like, what are the prospects of having to study, have international opportunities whilst in Oshodi, Solo, doing it without having to be in Germany? What are the prospects of that? And how can we leverage on that as well?
Okay, yes, that one, it's cheaper and easier. From the comfort of your home, you are getting international degrees. Now, the advantage of most of these programs that people do online is, you see that travel, you want to travel, you can still travel. There's the opportunity. Because most of the schools will tell you, on your graduation, we want you to come. People do not know. So there are parts of things that we're also promoting, online studies. Now, there are also some persons that didn't have access to education, maybe due to funds, raising family. This is an access for them to get that degree. So it's also something that we, at Forali, were promoting.
Is the process as intense as trying to apply for the physical one as well?
It's actually easier.
Okay.
It's easier and less cost effective because you will not be paying for flights, you will not be paying for visa fees, or you are paying your tuition and probably internet.
And the tuition is not more?
It's actually lesser than studying on site.
You didn't tell me this
no,
one
it's
time.
more than the usual one. If you want to study, I mean,
For some schools, it's actually lesser, and they give you
Yeah.
installment options. There are some schools that will tell you can pay monthly.
and you can keep paying after you graduate, because I saw somebody that is still paying till now.
Okay, yeah, that's for loan, study loans. So those ones still are available.
There are just a lot of opportunities.
There are
for people to
opportunities. There are
pick on.
study loans. You don't have the funds now, but you really, age is not on your side, the time, you have things you want to chase, you want to study. Of course, you can study.
Does it also permit studying, having different courses to study, since I'm doing it from the comfort? Okay, I'm pushing it beyond.
Sorry to say, the study loans also have a deficit too. So because when you made mention of study loan, you make it look like you just get a study loan, right? Because I have an information that if you want to get a study loan, you have to have paid a particular percent before you can access the study loan.
Depends on the loan provider.
Not that maybe they will just disburse the study. So please, I just want to.
So it depends on the loan provider
To get that.
There are some loan providers that allows you pay as low as $200 per month, $100 per month. But know that you're paying over like 20 years, 15, depending on your payment structure. Of course, there are some other loan providers that would ask you to pay a certain percentage just as collateral, since you are not going to be providing any form of collateral. That one. So for people that already have funds, probably their funds are not complete, they can go with that option. But for people that do not have funds at all, I will always recommend apply for scholarships or, plan your studies. It's good to plan. It's very good to plan. When you plan, you don't make mistakes.
I really like the fact that we have been able to accept or see that there are diverse options depending on whatever it is that you want to explore.
I was going to ask a question, because usually on the show, when we get to discuss things that have challenges and prospects as well, we always find a way to put the government families and people as those that have responsibilities to play. I know you've mentioned a few things. Going back to what you even said about the foundation, basic education, it's not becoming very quality, I mean, as quality as it used to be before. So, I mean, if you were to advise, if we were to talk about it, what role do you think people should start playing? I mean, parents, guardians, the government as well, private individuals, to ensure that people start accessing international opportunities more, or even local opportunities as well.
Okay. If you can, try to get involved with education. If you can. If you have the talent, please get involved.
By involved, you mean start teaching?
You can teach. You can volunteer. You can. If you can, it's very good. Why? I've seen tech companies in Nigeria. They've started promoting education. Last summer, I saw a lot of companies encouraging the young ones to start coding. That's another form of education.
True.
Teachers too, they should be more dedicated, because I feel, well, due to lack of support, their interests are really dwindled compared to, at least when I was in school. I had teachers come to school every day, but now if you go to public schools especially, it's not there. Then, of course, our government should pay more attention to education.
Great.
It's very important.
Elizabeth told me that your organization is planning an education fair. Elizabeth, good triumph is the bird. You know, this next weekend, I guess. So yes. What should we be expecting? What do you hope to achieve? And is that also one of the ways you are giving back? Because since you have said we should get involved in education, is that what that career fair hopes to achieve?
Yes, our fair. It's to find solution to the problem. I've seen, you know, at least I'm someone that spends a lot of time on social media. I've seen people come online, they complain, they lament about how somebody, you know, give them wrong information and they're in trouble. In summary, yes. Some were duped. Some even used wrong information that, you know, altered their future for life. So now we decided to create this education fair to give information and to give you the right information to ensure that you go through the right path. And we're getting everybody involved, from young to old. Is it a professional that, of course, they want to further their education, not just get something to, you know, ensure that they keep up with the trends, or a young graduate from the university, or somebody that just written WAEC and is asking what next. We've created a platform for them, so we really want people to come get the information. It's free to attend, because we want people to know that, okay, there's a right way about it. Because there's this notion about education consultants that they are just about your money. Yes. We are not about your money. We just want to give you the right information. So for the education fair, it's free to attend, and you'll be meeting schools from different locations. I talked about loan providers. They'll be there. Scholarship bodies will be there, a lot of them. So for every part.
What a way to wrap up the weekend, giving you solutions to help you bridge the border. Thank you very much, Ajiro Ogene, for joining us. Thank you to my co-anchors for such an insightful 1 hour we've had this morning. Bridging borders isn't just about crossing ocean, it's about crossing mindset. And as Africa's next generation steps into the world, its voices like Ajiro Ogene is reminding us that the journey to global relevance begins with preparation, with vision, and with courage. I'm Oluchi Omenka, and this is Raised Breakfast. Thank you for staying with us. Do ensure you subscribe to our YouTube channel at Official Upgrade TV. You can interact with us further, drop a comment, and most importantly, follow all our social media, engage, remember to like, share, comment, and have a great weekend. Thank you for sticking with us. We'll see you again on Monday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Bye.